So hi everybody, welcome to your solstice reading. So my name is Angela. So welcome back to another tune in, and I'm going to be doing a solstice messages from spirit, and I'm going to cover the north and the south hemisphere. I'm just going to leave it up to spirit to see what they want to say to us. So apologies if you can hear lawnmowers in the background, but it's just sod's law here. Whenever I start to do a reading, there's always somebody with power tools ready and waiting to go. People obviously have to cut the grass, and we've got the most incredible weather here in the UK today. I don't know, it's probably about 25 degrees, and it's just a bluey, very angelic sky with just gentle clouds, and it's just a light breeze. It's just so stunning. So I was actually planning to do this reading the day before the solstice, where the energies start to really build. But my guide said to me, no, do it on the solstice. And I know why now, because the energy is it's just so high vibe today. And I don't know about you, but last night I actually didn't really sleep very much, and I've still gone to the gym and lifted very heavy weights and come home, and I'm kind of like buzzing. So totally buzzing, ready to go. So I'm going to do 3 loud bells just to clear the energy and set the intention. And my crystals love sound, so I'm just going to work with this now. So if you've got headphones on, I'm just giving you the heads up. Brilliant. So that seems to have cut off the noise of lawnmower man outside, which is absolutely great. Right, so let's get to it. So the cards I've got are just easier than me popping all the names on the description. Are the Alana Fairchild Carly Oracle, which I love, the Black Moon Astrology cards, which I do use a lot in my readings, which are by Susan Shepherd, and I've got my tarot. I've got the Sacred Geometry Oracle deck. So Spirit said that they wanted this deck out to do the reading with. So there'll be one card, I think, for the Northern Hemisphere, one card for the Southern Hemisphere, and we'll go from there on that. And then also, these are my fairy cards, my good old fairy cards. So, yes, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the cards. Right, so Spirit is just saying start with the north, because I'm in the north, and then I can work with the south afterwards. So let me just leave the cards on the side here. And in true Northern English Irish style, I've got Irish heritage for those of you that don't know me. I've got a cup of tea. So growing up, there's a long-standing joke with my Irish friends about how your mum or your dad would tell you to have a cup of tea to cool down in the summer. So I've actually got a cup of tea, and I've got to say it does actually work. I've got water as well, but it's really, really important to stay hydrated. So I'm just getting all my cards out of my boxes, but just wanted to show you what the cards look like in their boxes, because maybe some of you might be interested in buying them, and buying them maybe direct from the artists or buying from independent local shops. I support my local metaphysical shop where I live here in the UK, and it's so amazing because the lady that I go to, we always have a joke. I get on with her really well, and she said to me, Angela, I don't know anything about cards, but yeah, she's probably got one of the best selection of card decks I've ever seen in an independent metaphysical shop ever. And she said, I just don't really know what to buy. I just follow what I think I should get. But she's obviously listening to her intuition, and she knows what she's doing. So let's move these here, and then we're all going to get organised. So I hope that you're feeling these energies. So the solstice is in the north. It's when the sun is closest to the earth. So it's the longest day of daylight that we get throughout the year. And then obviously in the southern hemisphere, it's quite the opposite. So it's the shortest day, but it's when the light starts to return. So obviously we get the winter solstice here in the UK in December. And actually it's quite noticeable. So if any of you have been struggling there in the south with maybe a bit of a lack of daylight, I know it's difficult when we're used to the sun and the sea and warmth and fresh air, and then we're in the cold and the snow and the sleet and the rain, and there's hardly any lightness to life. But you know, we have to understand that with anything to do with our lives here on earth and spiritual growth, it is always to do with birth and renewal. So we have to go into almost a bit of hibernation in the winter, and we go in and we slow down and we have a much more retrospective time. And then in the sun of the summer, we shine. You know, we come out of the cave, we're more we feel much more lighter and we feel brighter. We want to be out and about. We don't want to be necessarily stuck indoors. We know that's going to be coming again in the winter. So, you know, we work with the seasons, and also, I suppose you could say we are creatures of habit, but I'll just be sipping my tea throughout, guys. So if you just hear me take a little break there, that's why. The message that I heard for solstice came up when I was talking to one of my girlfriends who's a shamanic practitioner, and we were just talking about general stuff, and I said to her, you know, there's something about this solstice, and it's about realizing that you are the solution to your own problems. Like, you are the solution. So whatever is going on in your life right now, and it could be something quite small to you, but it's niggly. It could be something major that you've just been going around and around and around, so you feel like you've been on that wheel of life and nothing switches. And Spirit was saying, look, the answers always lie with you, but especially around this solstice, there's a massive injection of light returning onto the earth. And what they said to me last night was, because I was seeing a lot of stuff that's being shown in the media, and it's revealing a lot of darkness, a lot of shadow aspects. Again, the uncovering of these very, very corrupt societies and establishments and organisations. And what Spirit reminded me, which is, we all, you know, to some level we all know this, which is when there's loads of light, what it does is it actually illuminates everything, even the things we don't want to see, even the things that are uncomfortable, even the things that we think, oh my God, I don't think I can deal with that. But you have to remember that there's only so much shadow anybody can see. You know, we have to do things in increments. We have to do things with gentleness. And like, again, I always try to put realism into my own spiritual teaching with clients, because they'll often read a book or they'll read somebody go through something really quite horrific. And the impression that's sometimes given, especially on social media, is that people turn their lives around quickly. And yes, that can happen. Healing can happen very quickly as well. But it's not par the course. It's, I wouldn't say the norm. I don't like to have normal parameters, because I like to leave everything's open to possibility. And that's another message that I got. But it's very important that you know that some of the best work that we do is that it's slow and steady. It's doing things consistent, not repetitively, but with some commitment and some loyalty to the path. And I think sometimes what can happen is we listen to these stories, which are brilliant, but what it can do is it can implant this belief that, well, I'm not doing something right because it's not happening fast enough. The other message that I got was never say never. So there's something coming around about our belief systems as well. Again, the light, this massive injection of light that we're getting into our lives is opening us up. We're expanding, we're growing, we're illuminating, we are moving, we are, you know, opening up to something greater and bigger. And what that sometimes requires is surrender, but also to just be open to all things. So, you know, say if you've said, oh, I want to have a life that's like this, I need to live here. Maybe what you think right now, you think you need, in another few months, something fantastic is coming into your life. And because of that, Spirit are asking you to just open up, because often there can be things when we've handed over and we've asked for spiritual divine intervention that our shift that's required is that we just stay open so it can come in. Because if we're not open and we're not receptive to it, well then how are we going to try it? How are we going to get traction? How can it enter into our lives energetically if we're so fixated that it has to be a certain way? It's a big part of our learning here on the earth in the human experience, because the spirit isn't contained to a body. The spirit, like our spirits can travel at night. They come out of our bodies, they go here, they go there. When we die, they go into another dimension. You know, there's so much more to the spirit than there is the physical human body. So that was the other message that I got. Is there anything else, spirit? Yeah, because it's all about yellow. It's all about the sun. The sun is what we shine in. It's our sun sign. It's our personality. It's our ego as well. So again, I think this is what their message is about with the ego. You've got to get out of your own way a little bit. You know, I was so fixated a while back about moving to a certain place. And I was adamant that that's what I needed. And actually, spirit knew what I needed that was better for me than what I knew I needed. And actually, when I just like relaxed and, you know, sunk into the experience of what I was having, my life really turned around. And actually, I started to realise that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And actually, where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do would have actually been not necessarily the best, happiest thing for me. So there we go, guys. So sacred geometry. So let's bring in a bit of Kuan Yin or Soma. And we're just going to tune in now. I'm just going to see what they want to say. So I'll just move the sacred geometry book, and I might use that, I don't know. So wonderful guides, the energy of source. Now we call you in and we ask that we please receive messages for the solstice period. They're saying that these messages are timeless as well, so we can always come back to them for a reminder. Spiritual teachings are always omnipresent. So is this for the... Okay, right. Okay. Messages for the summer solstice. And this is for the northern hemisphere. But what Spirit is saying is we could also swap the messages round. So when it comes to our winter solstice, they will also have a relevance to us. Okay. Right, so what have we got here? Expanded Shri Yantra and Dancing Prayer came out. Okay. So those are the first two cards. Then we got Leonardo da Vinci's Virtue. I can't say this. Vitruvius Man. I'm sure there's another way to pronounce it, but there you go. Calm Within and Golden Spiral. And it's so funny because at the moment in the UK, so there's a lot of things like where you are, wherever you are, maybe you're in the northern hemisphere and feeling it in the southern hemisphere. So there's all these cost of living now. Everything's gone up by a third, literally overnight. And it hasn't, I say overnight, but this has actually been happening over the last few months. I've noticed it in the supermarket, where things that are £1 are now £1.30, and it actually has an impact, especially if you've got a family. So what Spirit said to me was, you will have everything that you need to navigate this shift. And there is going to be a lot of things being revealed. So again, we are getting a massive influx of light on planet Earth, universally. So what that's going to do is it's going to lift up the energetic vibration of the planet. But then what it's also going to do is it's going to do a lot of different things. So I don't know why I'm getting this around these cards, because I think the Calm Within is saying to us that we've got everything that we need. And the Golden Spiral is saying that this is actually, it's all meant to be. Now, you might argue and say, I'm not even going to say you'd argue, you might bring up the point, well, you know, if we're supposed to be going into unity conscious and this and that, but we're going through a massive transformative period. And I think even what we're seeing now at the moment with the Ukraine, like, we have the ability on the earth now to blow each other up to smithereens. We've created a nuclear power which can destroy us. We've never ever done that before in these 2 or 3 generations what we've been in. So there's a lot to be learnt during this period, and the moon's nodes have now gone into, so the world's moon's nodes are in North Node, which is the destiny node of what we are getting a big clear out and heading in for is Taurus, and the South Node, which is the karma that is being cleared. So it's like that Scorpio, the opposite sign. So there's a lot going on with that. I don't really want to go into that too much with this. I don't want to get off piece, but this, for some reason, that's relevant as well to this. But what we are noticing is that where the light is being shone, it's necessary. Yes, it's uncomfortable. The expanded Shri Yantra is saying that, to work on expanding your energetic field. Now, however that works for you will be different. For some people, it will be maybe doing Macabre, which is Metatron's Cube. So actually, these are the Sacred Geometry cards by Francine Hart, and I love these. I bought these actually in Mount Shasta. So for me, they hold a lot of power with them, because of the fact I bought them there, because of that, that mountainous energy. It's so solid, it's grounded, it's very powerful energy. But I actually want to say to you that there's something around that in stabilizing your energy field for what's to come. Because what Spirit is saying is that many of us are going to be called, the never say never bit. So often when we open ourselves up on the spiritual path, we can kind of tend to think, right, well, then that means I'm going to follow my Reiki or my reflexology. It's almost like our career or our life purpose will step up. And actually that we might be in more of an earning role, which looks more spiritually inclined. What Spirit is saying, again, it's a never say never situation. Many of us might actually be called back into the corporate world. It might look like the corporate world on the surface, but actually underneath is a big soul mission. So there are going to be things that we are going to all be called to in this next phase, which is all linked to this expansion of light on the planet. And Spirit are with you on this. They are saying that if there are things that you need to sort out about yourself and your health, please do it now. Stop putting it off. Stop saying it's another, the dancing prayer here is saying, like, for me, this is like Kundalini energy. There's a lot of healing available around this time. This light is going to bring in many blessings for people. It's going to bring in divine union. It's going to bring in the balancing of one's own energy field. But we have to do the work. It's not just going to happen to us when we sit there and we pray and we've got to physically participate in the energy. So it will look different for every person. Now, the Leonardo's man, this is the card, so this is why I'm picking this up. So this is the card of divinity of humankind, and it's interesting because Francine Hart says in the book here that it's the only art in the deck that she did not create. She's saying that sacred geometry sees, everyone's studying sacred geometry sees it as a key to unlocking a cosmic code about our humanness. And actually, the further that you go into sacred geometry, it's like pure mathematics and physics, and it's all linked into quantum healing as well, they're saying. And there's a lot to be discovered around this field that is going to really help people whose energy might be fixed in the past, and they need help and they need healing. So there's going to be massive developments in medicinal healing, and it's sacred medicine coming back in. But what Spirit is saying to me as well, I don't know why I'm just getting this message in the Northern Hemisphere. It's obviously going to be quite general, this. But it's to do with energetic medicine, and actually we'll realise that it's actually very scientifically linked. It's just the science actually has to catch up. It's not the other way around. Okay. So this is the card of opening to the concept of accepting the perfection in all things. And that's allowing infinite variety in form. So it's actually saying that all imperfect things are perfect. It's opening to this concept and releasing judgments about perceived imperfections in yourself and others will free you to enjoy greater joy and satisfaction in living. So I also want to say around this is that there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be waking up to a lot of things going on the earth, and they're going to be like the penny's going to drop. And I've been getting this message for a while now that Spirit has said, look, you know, it's not for us to say, oh, now you've finally got it. But there are going to be a lot of people dealing with the ramifications of some of the choices that they've made based upon kind of being asleep, and we mustn't judge them for it. This is what the help, you know, the calm within is like being the voice of reason. It's the balance of the feminine and the masculine. It's not saying I know everything just because I'm spiritually awake. There's nothing worse than a self-righteous person when they've woken up, like, I know it all, I've got this, look at me, and you know, it's quite the opposite actually. I would say somebody that's behaving like that hasn't woken up, they're still in their ego, they've still got a very strong link to how spiritual awakening is supposed to look like, because somebody's told them one thing, that's what they believe. And actually spiritual advancement in not in a indoctrinated way, and it's not in like a comparison way, it's just you're on your path and you're away and you're getting on with it, is that you're always going to get humbled. And actually some of the most profound healers and people with gifts that I know or I've come into contact with or I've had the absolute pleasure and joy of being in their company will never ever say to you that they've got this special talent, because they just see it as their path, and you just get on with it. And it's actually a lot of the time it's not easy. Your gifts and talents aren't always recognized by those around you. But I'm also hearing Spirit is saying that's changing now. So they're saying go with the changes, roll with, I don't want to say roll with the punches because that's not a nice saying. That's more like my spirit family upstairs having a joke with me. But it's like they're saying, like, many of us have had to roll with the punches here, and we've had to go, you know, we've had to just stay a bit small and not be bright, because it reflects back to those around us the things that they're not looking at, and they're saying the time of this is over. So the golden spiral card is divine proportion. It's universal harmony and spiritual transformation. It connects you to the primordial whirlpool of creation, the cosmic soup from which we all emerged. You're not separate from God. You are not alone in the vastness of time and space. You are unity and oneness. You are connected to every particle of energy and light, to every wave in all creation. Taking this into your everyday life, it becomes clear that there is no us and them, no separateness. See, this is the thing. People are going to be waking up, and it's like, you know, for humanity's sake, this is a really good thing. And, you know, it might be spontaneous Kundalini awakening, the dancing prayer cards there, but there's an expansion coming in of light. And this is for the Northern Hemisphere, but I just think, look, it's a message for all of us as well. So this is the All That Is card. So it's like, again, spiritual wisdom is this calmness. It's like what I was just saying about, you know, these people that I've known, like I remember like body workers going to see a physiotherapist or an osteopath or even a doctor. You know, like at the moment I'm doing a lot of studies, and I've got a whole appreciation for the human body and what people have to study in the medical industry. It's unbelievable. I'm going through my books and I'm like, oh my God, you know, you need a photographic memory to remember this stuff. But it's also made me recognise the beauty and wonderment of the physical form, like what our bodies do. Like there's all these different types of cells in our bodies that secrete hormones and different compounds in order to break down our food. And you just think, like, what a machine we are made, you know, how we are made. It's really quite incredible, really quite amazing. But I think there's just more and more people waking up with this light coming to the planet, But also what Spirit is saying about this is that this is why we need to be the voice of reason. We need to be the calm. We can't go in and fix anybody else's problems for them. We can still be calm and we can be gracious. And this is something that I was taught very early on, which was brilliant, which was you actually incur your own karma and you take on board. When you take on board other people's soul lessons, you're actually stopping them from growing and learning, and you're actually, it's not advisable to do that. That's all I'll say about it, is that, you know, people have to figure it out as they go. Like, and this is the good thing about counselling. If you've got a great therapist, the therapist will guide you, but ultimately you will be, again, this is what Spirit's saying. They're coming back to this message. Can't you see you're the solution to the problem? So you will ultimately figure out whatever it is that's going on in your life right now, whether it's a life purpose question. There's a massive energy of just advancement and illumination here that's available to all of us. Yeah, this is Passion and Kundalini, the Dancing Prayer card. So there's an awakening coming around this time as well, and this sunlight, this vibrancy, this this upgrade, this that we're getting of light. Sorry guys, I just moved my camera there by accident. I'm getting overexcited here with this Kundalini card and passion. So it's about passion of love or work or artistry. So it's again feeling it down to the cellular level. It's fire that feeds love. It's the juice from which genius arises. And this is the thing, right? You might get offered a job right now, or a job might be coming into your field, and it might not be what you thought you were going to be doing. And you're thinking to yourself, but I've got all these things I want to do, which are very spiritually inclined. But what it might be is that the getting back into a work mode and a cycle of work. Because I know this myself, like I'm better when I've got 2 or 3 things going on. So I'm less motivated when I've got like all this time off to do what I want to do. Now, a lot of people can do that. I can't. I'm very different. I'm very high functioning. So if I don't have a challenge to my mind, I get a bit bored very quickly. So, some of us are like that. I'm not saying this is for everybody, but there might be that a job's going to come in and it's going to help you because it's going to give you some money to get all the things that you want. So, and to maybe spend money on supplements and your health and your wellness. So it's going to give you a sense of your self-esteem back. And that's what might be being called for, is that there's an opening and there's a pathway that Spirit are going to be offering you, which isn't maybe what you thought, but it's actually going to get you to what it is that you want to create. And actually, I was thinking about this today. I've got loads of things I want to do. And what Spirit was saying to me is you can do them all at once. You just need to be very efficient with your time. And what a lot of us have been doing this year is we've been really, really clearing out the distractions. So, if we're getting like constant text messages and messages from friends, which is absolutely lovely, it's wonderful. However, you're not going to get your work done or your book written if you are constantly replying to every message you get from everybody, or everybody's like, oh, can you help me with this? Or especially if you are a healer, we get a lot of requests from people in our personal lives. It's not bad. But there's always like, people going, well, I want to talk to you because you understand. Yes, you do, and you will. But we can't always be doing this, guys, when we're trying to create maybe our legacy now, or we're trying to write that book, and you know what, the right people understand. So there is an element here of really focusing on, sorry guys, somebody's sending me a message. I'll just turn that off. Oh, that's so funny. That's just my hairdresser saying it all really about self-esteem and feeling good. So basically, there is something about this, about just staying open and staying grounded. So maybe what this could be for some people is actually to work on being more present in your body. So you have to ground to receive the light. And you have to have the right It's like in nutrition, you have to have the right set of circumstances for your cells to be able to work efficiently. So that can be from receiving light and water. You've got to have the right environment for your cells to work right. And I feel like whatever is happening here is that if you're in a place right now and you're like, well, I don't really know what's going on, Ange, I'm blank, is work on building your energy field up. So this is anything from your ability to hold light energy. And actually what can happen is when spirit are working on your energy system, you can often feel very tired and you're guided to rest and relax and just let your cells receive. So you're upgrading your light field in your body. And what happens is every time you get an upgrade, even like your desires and your focus and, who you want to spend time with, all our tastes actually change as we go along. And sometimes our tolerance for certain things comes down because we realise we don't need to be around that anymore to move through and to create whatever it is, whatever this beautiful golden spiral is that we're creating into our life, whether it's a legacy, whether it's a business, whether it's a garden. We have to spend time in it. We have to nurture, we have to nourish the ground, we have to weed it, we have to water it, we have to have the right weather. We have to understand we might have to study, we might have to get some qualifications, we might have to look at, well, what plants are going to work. If we just randomly start planting all kinds of stuff in there, the garden will get grown over, and maybe some of the plants might not share the space with other plants. There's a lot of different conditions that come together. So I think you get the gist of what I'm saying, guys. Right, okay, so I think now, is there any tarot cards? Let's pull an astrology card. Where are we up to now? Right, the dogs are agreeing with this outside. Right, yeah, we're on 32 minutes. So, Northern Hemisphere, Summer Solstice messages, please, Spirit. Leo, I will. Well, the sun, Leo is ruled by the sun. So this is just reiterating this sun energy, this light energy that's coming in. This is an energy that is being illuminated in our lives at the moment. But also I'm hearing that in Leo time, which is going to be the 21st of July to the 21st of August, this is really going to kick in. So it's like it's the card of honor and strength. It's about vital personalities. It's about making your mark on the world. And it's about this. It's saying here that Leos want to mark their time on the earth to mean something. So it's about children, creativity, and the stage of public arena. It's saying Leos make great actors, television workers, book publishers, artists, salespersons, and posers. That's funny. What they do must count and be unique. So this is the card of strength. It's about individuality, creativity, play, children, the stage, standing out as the heart. It's really about following our hearts, isn't it? It's about our spirit, our personality. It's about romance, the start of romance. I was saying that before, wasn't I? This Kundalini energy, there could be awakening of divine union here as well. Flings and passion, the heart of the matter. Yes, it's exactly what we've covered just before, exactly the same thing. Right, any tarot cards that you want to... I feel like Carly's just going to give us a message at the end. Any tarot cards for the Northern Hemisphere for solstice? So the High Priest, that's like the Hierophant in King of Swords. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of truths coming out around these old establishments. Yes, justice. I'm not surprised these cards have come out, guys. So with this light being expanded on the earth, it's going to, all this stuff that they're trying to hide and they're trying to just bury all the time, these really corrupt establishments that are really quite insipidous, actually, how they're ran. And it's like they're just saying it's the old it's the old guard again is getting a big clear out. And again, if you noticed, it's all mostly, apart from the angel here, which for me, I don't see it as a gender because angels are genderless, but the high priestess is like, it's like old institutions, it's old, it's like constitutional ways and means of doing things. And the King of Swords is where, so it's the divine masculine, but it's the divine masculine and the truth coming out. So this is Northern Hemisphere. Okay, the Chariot. So these are all major arcanas, and then the King of Swords. So you've got the Chariot. I'm just going to put these down on the top. So that's, you know, this is change coming in thick and fast. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so it's the 7 of Wands, which can be challenging. So it's challenging when it comes out. It's 4 of Cups. So 4 of Cups can mean... So 4 of Cups can often be linked to like children or childhood, things where people have lost out. It's the cup where, you know, there's 3 cups. There's 1 cup being offered and the 3 cups have spilt over, and the person's looking at the cups that spilt over. So it's almost like looking at the past. It's a challenging past situations. Now the 3 of Pentacles has come out upside down, so that's normally like opportunities coming in. The Tower, yeah, I'm so not surprised this has come out, and the Emperor's at the top there. So there's some truths that are going to continue to come out around our establishments, especially in the Northern Hemisphere. So obviously that's going to include America and Canada, where we've been told lies. I'm not getting the 7 of Swords here, but there's a Tower moment coming. So there's a dissolution. Yeah, the Queen of Cups is there. It's the cups being offered, healing is being offered. It's a long time coming, this. I feel like with the 4 of Cups and the 7 of Cups, it's becoming more and more of a challenge for people at the top to hide the lies, because the positive side of technology is that nothing can ever really be hidden. It has a footprint, and yeah, it has, new start, Ace of Pentacles and Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, because the new energy wants to come in, so there's justice yet to be seen and seeked for. Is there anything particular around this, certain areas that you want to bring through? Yeah, so it's the Devil, it's the binding of, it's things that have they've held people back. So it's where people have been chained up, where they've been taken away against their will. So the Devil actually upside down is a good card, because what it does, it's the unchaining of, like, you know, this addictive, really quite dark energy. You look at the card, it's not a particularly nice card to look at, but actually it's been inverted, so there's going to be a releasement. See, this is the thing, this is what when spirits say, you know, there is divine intelligence to a lot of the things happening on our earth, but what can happen is humans get really stuck in the whole conspiracy theory, and actually what it does is it defeats the object. So they're saying it's good for us to see things, and there will be things that we're all going to have to see that aren't particularly comfortable, and they are pointing to me. This 4 of Cups, can you just give me a bit more clarification? The Star, it's blessings. I think it's to do with children. 5, 6, 7, yeah, lots of different, they're saying it's lots of different areas. 4 of Swords and 2 of Swords. So it's going to bring in balance, but it's a lot of these establishments that have really repressed the truth. Now the 7 of Swords hasn't come out, but I just don't feel like it needs to, because I've got the 7 of Wands there, and we've got, it's bringing in stability, but they're just saying with the light comes the learning. And look, we all want to hear messages, don't we, where we go, oh, it's great and everything's hunky-dory. But what Spirit is saying to me is that's not what we came down here to do. It's not about being told what we want to hear. We don't learn from that. Yeah, it's breaking free. we've got to listen to our own gut instinct on this. We've got to be more and more discerning on what we listen to in our environment. I mean, look at these cards, aren't they just speaking to us? Breaking free, self-reliance, feeling safe, and environmental awareness. Again, you know, there's always going to be things that we're going to be hearing and seeing. And also at the moment, so we've got big rail strikes on in the UK at the moment, and a big part of we've got, because we can't focus on all these things, and just we've got to find the balance. It's always the middle road. Is that so? There's a lot of mixed opinions at the moment in the UK, because all the rail workers and a lot of the union-based roles, so in transportation, they've all gone on strike. So the tube drivers, the staff, the rail networks, all the train stations are just empty at the moment, especially down south. I mean, they probably are where I am, but I've not been on the train recently. So everybody's been kicking off about the fact that they can't go back to work and that they're being forced to work from home. Some people are actually making a bit of a laugh out of it and going, thanks very much, because some people actually want to work from home. It's improved the quality of life. But the thing is that what a lot of the public don't realise is, so they just listen to what they're being told in the news, which is the narrative of whoever is sponsoring or the money funder behind that organisation or institution, because not all reporting is always impartial. I've noticed this, and I was listening to GB News, because I just feel like the presenters speak freely, they're not censored. And it's just a breath of fresh air, and you come away listening to it not thinking like, because I don't think you should shy away from what's going on in the world either. You know, in the early moments of spirituality and you're opening up, there will be a period where you just need to step back from it. But, you know, we have to be of use in the world. We're not meant to just go away and hide away in a monastery. We're meant to come down here and live our lives and enjoy our lives, but also to participate. And that's what Spirit was saying about strengthening your energy field, because sooner or later you will be called on to help, to, after your spiritual awakening, to to join humanity again. You know, we've all been there where we've had to just, you know, be at home and just cancel out the noise for a bit while we get our energy system in balance, while it goes through these big shifts and changes. Anyway, what a lot of people don't realise is a lot of these organisations, the governments in the UK here have been privatising them for years. So they're not actually owned by the public purse, a lot of them, but the government is putting money in to prop them up, because a lot of these companies turn around and they go, we don't have any money left to do this and that, especially like with the rail networks. But what a lot of people don't realise is that they have published massive profits, but they don't, that doesn't translate down into the workforce. And I've worked for loads of different employers, like I'm sure you have. And what was wonderful was that when you're at work and you feel appreciated, you want to stay at work. But we've been through a 2-year pandemic where a lot of people were obviously, you know, rail travel, bus travel, it was all essential. So, you know, a lot of people were out there working through some very difficult times and not knowing what was going to happen out there. A lot of people were furloughed and then they went back to work. And what's happening now is that because they're striking for whatever conditions, because the unions have always been renowned, especially where I'm from, for protecting workers' rights. And what's happening now is the media are kind of stirring it that because they've gone on strike, they're forcing the country into a stalemate, when actually if you paid your workers a living wage, which moved at the rate of inflation, people wouldn't feel the need to strike. Is it fair to strike? No, it's not, to a certain degree. People have got to go to work, like nurses and people that do very essential jobs, keep our hospitals running, our emergency services. They might use public transport. But I think what we don't focus on a lot of the time is why they have to get to that point in the first place. Is because this is not a problem that's just been there overnight. It's been building for years. But then what happens is the government creates this almost like mania in the press. And then it becomes about not the government's problem. It's about, it's the workers, it's their faults. It's their fault for standing up for their rights. It's their fault. I mean, gosh, if you feel the need to strike, you've got to that point where the conditions in your job and your pay and you feel so underappreciated. It's like the right to peaceful protest. When we can't do that anymore, we don't really have any rights. We don't have like freedom of speech. So I think it's very easy to go off on one, as my lovely friend here said to me. She goes, Ange, they're not going to get public support. And I just thought, well, I'm not just going to believe what I read. I'm going to educate myself, and I'm also going to look at it from their point of view, which is that a lot of our systems, we were told here in the pandemic about the NHS, about saving the NHS. And lo and behold, the NHS is in debt again. I think they've said it's like something like 300 and something million pounds. There's a massive hole. They don't have the money. And what they've done is, because I know this in my own health service back in Manchester, is that to get people off the waiting list, they've been outsourcing all the work to private hospitals, and it's been costing a fortune. And nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about the mismanagement of funds. And I know, guys, I know this is a reading, and I know it's probably not what you're expecting. But the thing is, as you go on your path of your spiritual advancement, Spirit will guide you to look at this stuff. It's not about, I love my peonies, I love my fairy cards. At certain points, your spiritual muscles will be put to work in real life scenarios, with justice, with social justice, with the planet, with Mother Earth, with the protection of children, with the protection of our waters and our plants and our food systems. That is what light work is really about. It's not about, as much as it is about doing cards and being happy and meditating, and you actually get to the point on the path where you might not actually necessarily need to meditate. You'll walk, meditate. You've got one foot in one dimension and one foot in the other, and you can shapeshift between the two. And that is really spiritual advancement and mastery when you're able to do that. And I think this is what's happening for a lot of people in this message, which is that we're moving now to we are advancing at such a fast rate now, but so is our planet, and we need to move with that. And we also need to educate ourselves about energy health and energy medicine and our psychic cleanliness, our psychic boundaries and our psychic health, because all is one. What's one is in the whole, what's in the whole is in the one. And that is the same in your own life, guys, as well. So I know I've nearly gone on there for an hour. So I actually think I'm just going to ask Spirit on this. Let me just put these cards away. So they've just said to me about the Southern Hemisphere, is there anything additional? Because I'm just going to say what I feel, which is I feel it's just a universal message for all of us, and it's irrelevant where we are in the world. It affects us all. Because I don't know about you, when stuff was going off in Australia last year and the year before, I felt very affected by it, because I know I've got friends and loved ones in Australia, and I can't just turn a blind eye and go, oh no, that's okay. Because I genuinely care about people that live there and that I love. How can I not, think differently, right? So I'm just going to ask them, is there anything additional that you want me to bring through from your Spirit about the Southern Hemisphere? Right, so the Eight of Pentacles is learning. Can be new jobs, it can be new foundations being built. This is interesting, right? Why am I not so... I'm getting Australia with this, guys. I really am. So we've actually got the Seven of Swords. So this is additional to the message. So, this is, I think, a message for Down Under. So there's learning to be had about the last cycle that you've been through. And this is a cycle with a pandemic. And it's to do with dishonesty. It's where you've been lied to in Australia. So there's been things, there's going to be a lot that's going to come out. 5, 6, 7, yeah. And it's going to be challenging. 7 of Pence and the King of Wands. But I also think this is, the King of Wands is like entrepreneurship. It's also the card of the businessman, the successful businessman. I want to say, I'm just going to say what I get with these cards, and it might not even make any sense. The 6 of Cups as well. So this can be, the 6 of Cups is like, again, it's matters to do with the past. Whereas the 4 of Cups is more like crying over spilt milk. Something's been done and we need to move on. The 6 of Cups is looking back on the past of something that's really particular to you. So it's something that's really to do with your spiritual ancestry on this current lifetime, okay? So there are things that are going to be coming out. It's going to be like, look, slow and steady repair is on the way. But I actually feel there's going to be information coming out where money's been squandered on natural resources by the government. So I don't know whether, now you would probably know this better than me in the southern hemisphere, but I am particularly drawn to Australia. I think there's going to be a lot of things that are coming out that you're going to realise were not necessary, that either the government or the institutions have done. There's a massive shift of the old guard that's coming down there as well. I mean, these are like the stale, outdated men in suits is what I want to call it. 3 of Swords. There's a lot to be healed. It's where people have just. So the 3 of cards is the 3 cards. The 3 of Swords can be. It's heartbreak, but it's also when 3 people go their separate ways. And the 9 of Swords, so this is where, complete restoration is needed. Now, the 10 of Swords is often the card of ruin, but the 9 of Swords is where I've just had enough of this crap now. I don't know, I just think there's information that's going to be coming out below. 3 of Pence again has come out under. So again, it's like they're trying to stop it, but the thing is, with these massive influxes of light happening on our planet, nothing can be hidden anymore. I'm just letting you know. This is what I love about Spirit is, yes, the Ace of Cups. So that it's like Spirit are going to be offering us opportunities to do it differently, because nobody's going to come down and rescue us. It's like when you've been through these cycles of just loads of relationships that haven't worked out, and you might be oblivious to the fact that maybe there might be some patterning or some wounding in your past. Maybe you might not have had a present parent, if at all. You might have been abandoned as a child. There might have been something major that's happened in your past, and it's been sabotaging your relationships. And then all of a sudden the penny drops and you realise that you are the common denominator in all of this. That it's the same person, but just dressed up in a different suit of what they look like, but the MO of the relationship, how it unfolds, how it happens is the same. And you finally get it that actually you're the one, when you shift, when you look at what it is that's subconsciously sabotaging your relationships, and you shine the light on it, you administer the correct spiritual sacred medicine to the wound. So it could be an emotional wound, and the sacred medicine for everything in our lives that we can use with Spirit. It can be metaphorical. It can be needing your care and your love and your nurturing. It can be maybe going over and making peace with your past. But you can't do that unless you look at it first. But it doesn't mean going over and over and over and dredging it up, because that's what you're doing subconsciously when you keep jumping from one relationship to the next, but you don't want to go in and do the work. And what can sometimes happen is people think it's got to be this awful experience, and actually it doesn't have to be. It can be a real path of enlightenment working with a therapist. It can be, working with a shamanic practitioner, working with, when I do readings for clients, it doesn't matter what they've been through, spirit always give them this hope. I've never done a reading that's not been filled with hope, because their answer is, look, you are the solution to the problem, that the problem is only temporary, but there's a solution in there. We just got to find out what it is. I just feel that there's something to do with entrepreneurial resources down under, and I think this is more to do with Australia. So I don't know whether you've got I know you've got mining companies and you've got great resources of natural minerals down there. I just feel like there's going to be stuff coming out about how it's been sold off. It's not going back into the public purse is what I'm hearing. Four of Pentacles, that's building a foundation. The fours are always about strong foundations. Away from poverty, see. I feel like there's more to come out around it. And like what a spirit is saying is, look, they're with us on it. They want to tell us that they do think that we're amazing, that we've come down here at this time, because, many of us can't wait to get down here and go, right, let's get on it. Let's sort all this crap out down here. I'm going to incarnate as this, and I'm going to be a bit of a shapeshifter, so I can go in and I can work in this. I'm going to work in the medical field, and I'm going to be such and such, and I'm going to help change this. As I said before, never say never. This message around the solstice, you might be going into what looks like a very, the high priest energy, magician and the high priestess. There's more to be revealed. This Hierophant energy, but it's more the high priest, these old systems, and you might be going into what might look like an old system, but actually it's not. What it is you're going in there to bring light in like a generator. So whatever it is that you're going to do is going to make a real massive difference in those people's lives. I'll always say this, it doesn't have to look spiritual to be spiritual. And look, if you've got that role and you're able to do it, and you can be at home and you can have your website and be a spiritual teacher and it works for you, absolutely brilliant. But I can say from my own experience that I've been called out there. Spirit will give me my rest, and they will guide me to be at home and do what I need to do and take care of myself, and then they'll get me out on the road again, or they'll get me out doing stuff. Right, is there anything else you want me to share for the Southern Hemisphere, Spirit? And then I'm going to sage everywhere. Okay. Yeah, have faith. So the 9th house is about, so it's foreign people, foreign lands. I feel this is played a hand of fate with Australia to do with foreign investment, as I'm hearing as well. I think we're also going to start hearing a lot more about foreign investors and how it's been influencing. I know we've had this a lot in the UK, but how it's been influencing a lot of our industries, and not for the good. But again, it's going to come up for correction, guys, because look, the South Node is there. It's the tail of the dragon's tail. So it's going to come out, and it's just going to come out for clearing. There's a rebalancing of karma happening, and that's what the light is going to establish here. It really is. But yeah, 9th house is ruled by Sagittarius. It's Jupiter. It's expansion. It's higher learning. It's the card of the spiritual teacher as well. But we often have to go into foreign places and foreign settings to do some of this learning, or we need to be around things that don't it's not that they don't come natural to us. They're not necessarily from our origin of where we grew up or where we're from, but we get dropped off and we get put in an environment or an industry, and it's where we get some of the greatest learning. I mean, some of my airline training I still use today, conflict management, because when you're on an aircraft with people, you can't just say, right, get off. Can't just chuck them out on the wing and say, right, get on the naughty step and calm down. And actually, if you're not careful, situations can really spiral out of control. But we never had that problem at Emirates. The training was so incredible. I have to say, the full respect to the training centre. It was amazing, and that was like in the late 90s. But never say never. Something might be coming up for you around maybe foreign places. Foreign travel might be opening up if you're in the southern hemisphere, because the ninth house, it's not necessarily about, well, actually, it is about long distance travel, actually. So it could be third house is more short distance trips. Let's have a look. Is there anything else around this that you want to just share with us? Right, okay. I think. So it's something you're already thinking about doing, maybe. Gemini's the twins. It can also be about divine union. It could be a foreigner coming into your life, somebody that's not from your birth of origin or the origin of where you've come from. You're meeting a partner that's very different to you, but yet you are divine partners. So there's a massive compatibility on a soul level. And actually, maybe the difference in your cultures or your what would I call it? Your heritage is actually what makes your union so beautiful. Yeah, how beautiful. So, right, so that's that then. So a few little messages there. Yeah, and I even think with New Zealand as well, there's going to be a lot coming out about decisions that were made that were they were fundamentalist, actually, is what I'm hearing. They were just, all in the name of, well, we're protecting. Well, obviously that didn't work. It's like I'm just hearing like my Irish family in spirit saying to me, people lost their heads. They lost all sense of reasoning. Right, okay. Like in Ireland, they're just like, just calm down. Power hungry and power mad. There's a correction coming with this, guys. It's got to sort, because unity consciousness, and it might not happen in our physical lifetime, but it's what we're working towards, what we've come down here to do. Right, Carly, what's our message for solstice, please? There we go. She did not delay. And we have Gauri Devi. Right, I'm going to just get this card out. So can you see that with the computer? So I love these cards. They're so powerful. And this is number 43. So 4 and 3 or 7, whether that has a particular meaning for you. It might have a prominence. It might have a memory. This book is like a spiritual Bible. It's got so much information in it. The amount of work that she put into it. I've got a feeling this is the last card. Or is it the second to last card in the deck? Yeah, because the last card is Bhava Tarini, which is the tantric priestess of karmic release. Right, okay. So Gauri Devi is the champion of the sweet souls with fierce hearts who are underestimated and passed over. She who is gentle as the deer and ruthless as the lioness. So there's a link here to like the sun and Leo. So there's a lot coming up around Leo time for us, guys. So she has the capacity within the awakened heart to rise, to overcome obstacles, to have faith without any evidence of victory, and to rally the spirit until the right moment to act and win is felt. She is non-conformity and the freedom to be one's true self. Recognise your own beauty and value, irrespective of whether another has the capacity to behold it. At this time you shall shine. So it's just saying here the divine feminine is often misunderstood. She's stereotyped as weak and passive, and therefore underestimated or dismissed. So Gauri is the secret softness and light that is part of Kali. We would call her Kali's bright shadow. Gauri is domesticity and accessibility, where Kali is wildness and mystery. So again, can you see here, like a lot of people think with Kali, it's like, she's just like this. There's all these like, and I don't want to disrespect anybody's belief systems or, spiritual ancestry of what they believe in. But the archetype of Kali as well, like she said to me, I'm very misunderstood. I am often put into a box of the things that I can do. But I found one of the most profound goddesses to work with. So again, who would have thought there's this kind of like almost, I don't want to say tame, because Carly she'll be like, no, that's not right. But like, she's not what you think she is. So this is the card. This is what I love about Carly. The messages she brings, it just ties everything together. So Gori is, she shows how to operate within social systems whilst Carly rejects and disrupts social conditioning. So this is what I was saying before, guys, that some of us are going to be called to go into some of these places and spaces and interact with what we could call maybe unawakened souls. I don't really like to call people that because I've met some of the most spiritually aware people in engineering. I met a guy who at a water company. He worked as a psychic and a medium. Like, you just, honestly, God, never ever judge a book by its cover. So Gori creates harmony and connection. Well, I love this because whilst Carly is autonomous and independent, Gori is culture, whilst Carly is untamed. So the thing is, Carly has lots of different archetypes of herself within herself. That's what I love about Alana Fairchild's deck, is she's really understood Carly. So she's a shapeshifter, so she helps you in everything and anything. So it's a bit like this Gori Devi is one of the goddesses and parts of Carly, who is going to, it's like if we went in just with Carly into, say, a new role, and we actually probably, at the end of the role, we're going to probably change the face of whatever it is we're meant to do in the company. Or maybe whatever skills we're going to acquire in that role is going to equip us to go into our business with loads of free information that we couldn't have got any other way. Or the money is going to really tide us over for this winter while we set our business up and we do things concurrently. Do you like, there's so many different answers to this question. And it's a bit like Gori goes in and she goes in like a diplomat, whereas Carly would just go in and set everything on fire. That's the difference I think she's trying to explain here. Gori gives, and Carly takes away. Both work towards the same purpose of protecting and empowering the soul by whatever method will work at that moment. Both are manifestations of the one feminine divinity. I'm not going to go into the story with this here. I'm just going to see if there's another message here, but I just love this. I just really want to respect Alana Fairchild's words and what she said here. So when she appears, you're asked to check your boundaries and tune into your capacity to hiss, to realise you are entitled to be kind but also to be respected. I love this. If you have seen yourself as a badass, that's something Carly said to me. She goes, you're a spiritual badass. It's time to embrace your softer side, y'all. I will do that. If you've been soft and doubted your ability to stand up for yourself, you've simply forgotten that you are also Carly. Play with the balance with what resonates and know that if you allow for it, the divine will spontaneously arise from within and in whatever form shall accomplish the task. Take responsibility for the consequences of your actions while trusting in her methods that flow to you. So I'm actually going to light my sacred wood here. Where's my lighter? I've got my candle, that'll do. And I'm just going to say this prayer for Gori Devi. Okay. And this is our closing prayer for the solstice. Sometimes the wood takes a while to just light, but patience is a virtue. Just hearing Rome wasn't built in a day. That's so true. But my, how has that stayed in our consciousness and our history for so long? Right. It still needs a little bit more. There's something beautiful about Palo Santo wood. Just gets you present. So, beloved Kali Ma and Gori Devi, you are dark night and bright day. You are wisdom and compassion. I quiet my mind to dispense with conditioned responses and tune into the authenticity of your presence within my heart. I feel for your instinctive, spontaneous arising. I trust in your method and your greater guiding purpose, which benefits all beings. Yai Ma Kali, Yai Ma Gauri, Devi, Yai Ma. It's just saying, place your hands in prayer at your heart. You may see, sense, feel or visualise a swirling interplay of fierce dark night and clear serene day. These energies support each other, rising and falling as needed. They are completely instinctive and trustworthy. You may sense the presence of the Mother of Light within the day and the Mother of Darkness within the night. Sense how you are empowered and spiritually protected in all ways. Allow that feeling of inner security and spiritual love to shine from your heart in all directions, through all dimensions, for the spiritual benefit of all beings. When you are ready, take in a deep breath to honour Gauri and exhale fully to honour Kali. You have completed your ritual, and so it is. And it's so funny, as I was reading that, I just thought to myself, you know what, it's like the ebb and flow of breath, and then it said it at the end. Right, so I am just now going to just sage, I'm just going to say thank you, Spirit, for the gifts, for the wisdom, for the knowledge. And we ask that those things that no longer serve us now in the solstice, let's make way for the light. Let's make way for the clearing on our planet that is so needed to ensure the protection of every child that sets foot on this earth, in any land, on any sea, in any environment, with any person, that ultimately we will get to a place where all children have clean water, clothes, shoes, education, access to it, clean sanitation. The connection to resources. And also we say thank you to those that have agreed to come down here to show us how not to live. Those that have agreed with their own soul plan and their own pathway and contract, which has involved playing this role in the darkness to illuminate what we need to bring in with more light on our earth plane, because everybody has a role to play. Even if we don't like it, they all have a role to play, and so it is. And let this light of the solstice permeate every fibre of your being, every molecule of every cell of your body, and allow that light to just shine through into your auric field, into all your bodies, into your life, into your opportunities, into your work, your purpose, to your children, to your parents, your grandparents, your ancestors in spirit. Let this light permeate your homes, your cars, so that you can drive safely to and from wherever you go to any environment that you walk into, and any person that you may meet, and go in peace. Smoking away. Right, guys, I'm just going to let that smoke out until it's ready to finish. It's my chakra sage. And it's blended, I think, with flower petals as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. Wasn't your average reading, I know. It wasn't like just, you know, you're going to get a new job. It's always about energetic readings. They're just saying, Spirit saying, let's just have one for the road. Carly's laughing. She's saying, I can work through the tower, you know. Yeah, the chariot is change, guys. So big change is coming to those that want it, you know. It's going to be, you know, it's about having resilience. Those of us that have the resilience to do it, we can do it. And there's an offering. So anybody in a bit of poverty consciousness, I want you to try and come out of that, because the Knight of Pentacles is there's an offering coming. Just a few more messages. There's an offer of love and there's an offer of work coming for some people as well. Yeah, big, strong endings. Just let them happen. Don't fight them. don't fight them, and don't hold on to things that are holding you back. Life is just too short. If not now, whenever. That's what I want to say to you. Right, I'm going to go because it's been a bit of a long video, but you'll take the things that you want to watch and you'll leave the things behind that you don't resonate with, guys. But yeah, if you could like the video, I'd be very grateful. You know, it's an energy exchange, and it also lets me know that you have resonated with my work. And I will see you on the next video soon. I'm sending you all my love, and wherever you are in the world, I just hope you just enjoy this energy, this light injection that we're all getting no matter where we're at. Okay, guys, lots of love. Take care.